What's up, y'all? It's Ty. In this video today, we're going to be talking about something that's been on my mind that could be a helpful video for you guys. It's a simple idea, but I think it can at least make an impact for a few people in NBA 2K26 MyTEAM, and it's something that I definitely use for my advantage, right, when it comes down to building my specific lineup. Now, I'm not going to be talking about the best specific players, whether your budget cards or anything like that. I'm going to be talking about your play style and just kind of how to structure your team, right? Like, do you want to stretch big? Do you want 5 people out there, you know, that are all offensive players, right? How many defenders do you want on the court? All of those types of things are things that we are going to be talking about as we do dive into this video. If you're new to the channel, please smash that subscribe button. I appreciate all the support on the channel. You guys are absolutely amazing. Now, I want to start off with my squad, okay? So let's just start it off with my personal 5-man that I am running right now in King of the Court, because I feel like if I start here, then you guys will get a good idea of exactly what I am talking about. Now, this is the 5-man I am currently running. Now, and I'm going to tell you the problem with it, although I do like this 5-man, it's not necessarily perfect, right? I go SGA, Scottie Pippen, LeBron James, KG, and Joel Embiid. Now, in this 5-man, you are going to be seeing a lot of defenders, right? You see Scottie, you see Bron, you see KG, you see Joel Embiid. All guys that I would say are more defensive players than offensive players. Like, just being realistically honest with you guys, the outside of SGA, all of these cards are defensive minded. However, when I run my full squad, this is what I do. I sub Chris Bosh into that starting lineup and then move, it's the Pro Pass Bosh, but it doesn't matter, okay? I sub this Bosh into the starting lineup. And then I put KG next to Jack Sigma on the bench. Okay, my backup backcourt is Penny Hardaway next to Andrew Wiggins. Now, let's talk about why I do run this exact squad, and again, why I don't necessarily run KG with Embiid. I like to space my offense and defense. So, for example, Chris Bosh is better offensively than Kevin Garnett. If I'm running my offense, I'd run the pick and pop with Bosh instead of Embiid. Just get an extra shooter on the floor. Same thing with my bench unit, right? I've got KG that really provides no offense. His release is not good next to a guy like Jack Sigma, a guy that I know offensively, Sigma is probably one of the best bigs we have, right? Meanwhile, I like to run my offense through Andrew Wiggins quite a bit with my bench unit. Now, this is for obviously if you have a lot of MT and you're trying to build a really good squad. But let's just go through some of the cards that we have recently gotten in my team and talk about like where exactly you could have these guys. And I'm not really going to look at this week because I feel like this week's cards weren't necessarily that crazy. But let's just go with like Stephon Castle, right? If you're running Castle, which a lot of people may, you're going to want a shooting guard that you can go get a bucket with. Now, again, I feel like that's kind of a limited amount of people. I feel like there's a lot of shooting guards that you can't get a bucket with. I do like Andrew Wiggins for that. Scottie Pippen is okay for that. Dr. J is great at that. But if you're like looking at budget guys to go get you a bucket, hey, it might be a guy like Mitch Richmond. And again, I don't love Mitch Richmond on this game, but he kind of fits exactly what that would be like. And again, at the 3 next to them, you might look to run a guy like Bruce Bowen. And then again, Bosh would be fine here at that 4. And then again, at the center position, who knows? Bosh is obviously that more of an offensive mind. So maybe if you're really on a budget, you plug in like a Patrick Ewing, a guy that can defend at a really high level. That's just my ideas, right? Again, obviously your squad might be different than this, but this would be a pretty balanced starting lineup compared to if you went like Castle, and then let's say at the 2 you went Bruce Bowen, and then let's say at the 3, I'm just trying to think of a guy, let's say you went Robert Covington, and then at the 4, let's say you don't want to go Bosh and you go a guy, I'm just throwing out names right now. Like, I'm just trying to think of names, throw them out there to prove my point. Let's say at the 4, sure, let's go with, again, I'm just looking through things here. Trying to find somebody that would fit what I'm talking about. Let's just say you got Hakeem for whatever reason, okay? let's say you got Hakeem at the 4 and Ewing at the 5. Where is your offense coming from in this starting line? Right? It is going to be super tough to score. Yeah, you're going to get a lot of stops, but at the end of the day, it's not balanced at all. And so these are the types of situations is, okay, instead of Hakeem, run a guy like Bosch at the 4, and you're instantly going to have a ton more offense, right? And then again, if you want, you could plug in, okay, you don't want, let's say your point guards are Dylan Harper, Castle, plug in Dylan Harper at the 1, who has more offense than Castle, and you're going to be moving and grooving, right? This is a lineup that can play. And then at the bench unit, let's say you go Castle, and then at the 2, again, there's a lot of different guys you can run. I like Wiggins offensively, but I mean, even Clay gives you more offense than a guy like Bruce Bowen, although I don't necessarily love him either. But again, you guys are getting what I'm trying to say is you're just trying to keep things somewhat balanced, right? Like I know a lot of people even have Jimmy Butler, okay? So you could run Jimmy Butler, but if you're running Jimmy Butler at the 2, realize he's not going to give you much offense. You could run him at the 3, and then again, I'm just going to throw out a name like Clay, even if you give him, you know, let's say you've got Hoff, for whatever reason you put Hoff, lightning launch on him, he can give you some more offense than a guy, let's say, like Bruce Bowen or Jimmy Butler can help you out there. But if this is your 1 through 3, again, you're going to want to make sure you got a guy like Jack Sigma, somebody that can provide some offense to you guys. So again, to me, this game is way more about building a balanced lineup than it ever has, right? Like, I'm so serious when I say that. I guess Brandon Miller's in the game. He's offensively pretty solid, so you could even plug him into that bench unit. But it is so much more this year about building the balanced lineup than ever before because, again, you can't just run and fade. You can't just do anything. You got to be able to have guys that can dunk the ball, guys that can stretch the court. And so, again, it's important. Like, if you have Bosch and Sigma, I try to split them up because I think they are probably your 2 best poppers in the game. If you run them together, defensively, it's going to be kind of a struggle, right? It's just the facts of the situation. And so that's just kind of the approach that I take with things. And again, if you look at my lineup that I'm running right now, it is a pretty balanced lineup. Like SJ, I'd argue, is one of the best offensive players in the entire game. Scottie Pippen can give me some offense. Even with Bron can give me some offense. Obviously, again, my starting lineup, I do start Bosch normally, and then I go with a guy like Joel Embiid. I would say, again, this is a balanced lineup. And my bench unit, I would argue, is way more defensive-minded behind Penny Hardaway than my starting lineup. So that is why it is so important that I keep Jack Sigma on the team. And another thing I do want to say is a lot of people said, Ty, why don't you just go get Hakeem Olajuwon, right? Because the problem with that is, if I got Hakeem, okay, let's just throw Hakeem in this picture. Where would I place him? In the starting lineup over Bosch? That would be fine. But then again, I'm taking away a lot of offense. If I put him in here over Sigma, then my bench has no offense. And so that's the problem with Hakeem Olajuwon. I don't hate Hakeem at all. But when people are saying, Ty, why don't you go get Hakeem? I'm just thinking in the back of my mind, where does he fit this picture? He doesn't. He really doesn't, right? And I also will say, I like cards that can do everything. Like even Andrew Wiggins and Bazelis. They can run and dunk the ball, but meanwhile, they can knock down wide open catch and shoot shots. I rarely miss with them. And guess what? Defensively, they're pretty solid as well. And so the more guys that like you can get like Scottie Pippen, like LeBron James, the better. It's why I don't like guys like Mitch Richmond, right? Because Mitch Richmond can do one thing on the court. Say what you want, you can do one thing on the court, and that is shoot the 3 ball. Dunking is terrible, defensively not good, right? Even with Elton Brand. That's why I don't like the card, because his release is so mediocre. Yeah, he's going to play defense, but that's about all he gives you on the floor. His release, not good whatsoever. It's why even with Sidney Moncrief, I don't like the card, because yeah, defensively he's going to be fine, but offensively, he gives you nothing. These are the things that we have to take into consideration when building a squad. And like I said, even if you are no money spent, if you're running a guy like, let's say, Matthew Dellavedova, you want to make sure your shooting guard can be somebody that can go get you a bucket, right? So again, like the Brandon Miller would be fine. Even like a Doug Christie in this situation would be fine because he can go get you a bucket. And at the 3, again, you could plug in a guy like OG Anunoby. That's fine right there. Plug in Bosch. And again, I like Patrick Ewing. I know a lot of people don't. But if you got Chris Bosh, Ewing is the perfect guy to run alongside him where he's going to get you stops and play good defense. Like, again, if you're balling on a budget, I really don't hate that starting lineup whatsoever because I feel like it's balanced. It's got enough offense with Bosch and Doug Christie. Defensively, you're going to be fine. It's a solid squad that you guys can run. And again, you can plug in Caruso if you wanted here. You can make your adjustments wherever you feel you need, but it's important to have a defensive-minded big as well as a popping big. If you got both of them on the court, you're going to struggle defensively. Same thing with the backcourt. You got to have a guy that can get you a bucket, right? If you don't, it's going to be really tough on a consistent basis to score the ball. If you don't have a guy that can knock down shots with a somewhat quick release, that can dunk the ball, and again, can move a little bit for you guys. It's why I genuinely feel like this guy is one of the most important guys that I've ever gotten on my team in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, because offensively, he is literally so good, right? Like, so good. And so these are the things that obviously matter. These are the things that I would definitely take into consideration big time if I were you guys. You guys can let me know your thoughts on this down below in the comments. And again, it's not a, one size fits all. You guys got to do at the end of the day what's best for you. But it is something that I've kind of noticed that has definitely helped me really level up my game. And it's nothing I'm really doing crazy. I'm just slowly trying to figure things out. But running a balanced lineup is more important this year than it's ever been, with the fact that fades got patched, with the fact that, again, it is tough to consistently, score the ball if you're not running and dunking the ball. So that's where I'm at. You guys can let me know your thoughts on this down below in the comments, guys. Just trying to get a balanced lineup with a little bit of offense, a little bit of defense is super important right now in NBA 2K26 MyTEAM. Drop a like on the video, guys. Subscribe if you are new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.